Namaskar, welcome to Vatika, the biophilic studio at IIT Kharagpur Research Park. And we are here today with another episode of Alumni Tales. As you know, in the Vatika, we often host alumni who walk in, ring the bell, and then we start talking. Sometimes these alumni who come in and walk in are very well known to me. Sometimes they are strangers. So sometimes we call this strangers to the Vatika. And today I am meeting someone, not for the first time though, but we really haven't known each other because we haven't had a chance to really sit and chat and discuss a lot of things. We've been in some meetings together, but as you know, meetings are meetings, So today we are taking this opportunity to get to know each other. And as we become less strangers, less of strangers to each other, so will you, all of you who are listening to this podcast, get a chance to know both of us better. I think you've known me for a long time. I keep blabbering with, on so many topics with so many people and all that, but yet every time there is a chance to meet a stranger, I hope there's something that new that comes out. And today, as I try to understand who Rajiv Agarwal is, I hope you will all get a chance to understand in the same way who Rajiv Agarwal is, and in that light, maybe some new light, Rajiv will be able to shine on me, and hence the tales of the two of us will probably shine through to all of you as it has never. Many of you are already or probably alumni also who are listening to this. So chances are that some of you might know Rajiv much better than I do. Yet my hope is, Rajiv, today we will be able to discover those aspects of ourselves which will be new for everyone.
Absolutely.
So why don't we start right in the beginning, and if you can tell me what all those things that happened to really bring you to this particular juncture where we are here in this biophilic studio.
So I think we met a couple of weeks back in a meeting, and IIT Kharagpur Research Park and your studio in particular, it's a different feeling because when we studied as students at IIT, I could, it was like a cocoon, right? Mm-hmm. It was separate from the rest of the world, and a place where you could really learn, get to know yourself. And today, sitting in this natural setting, mm-hmm. I don't know. There's just this feeling where I think we can discuss about a lot of things, mm-hmm. and learn, and at the same time for the audience also listening to this. It would be enlightening as well as fun. So,
sure. But just first of all, not as you said, your studio. That really the intention is to make this ours. It's not really mine. I really believe that we are there where we are. So if I'm sitting here now, I'm here.
Yeah.
If I'm gone somewhere, I'm gone. Whoever is here. So. There is a term that we all, or a phrase that we all have heard so many times, "Dane dane pe likha hai khane wale ka naam." And Rajiv, sometime back, I would see a different meaning in this. People would say, okay, it's like coincidence that you have reached somewhere and that food was cooked for you, that kind of thing. But then I realized that what another meaning of this was that when we were growing up, when we would buy books or copies, every time we got into a new class, new books and copies came, there would be cover चढ़ाते थे उस पे, and then labels लगाते थे. आजकल बच्चे ऐसा मैं देखता नहीं हूँ, but on the label we would write names. So in the class we would know this book belongs to me,
yes.
Whose copy it is. So that is the naam that we are talking about. So दाने दाने पे, that naam is the ownership. So दाने दाने पे लिखा है खाने वाले का नाम is like that dana is my ownership. So who owns the khana is the one who is eating it. So which really means that whatever we may do to register this property on this name or that name, and we want to establish ownership in certain ways or the other. But the fact is that whoever is enjoying a particular thing is the one who owns it.
Absolutely.
Especially in that moment, it is the one who's. So from that aspect, I'm taking this opportunity to really invite all of you who are listening to this, especially alumni, to come and be part of this. Not just speaking with me, but probably you're here in Kolkata nowadays, or?
My house is in Calcutta. I've been born and brought up here.
Born and brought up here. So make it a point that you can conduct this session with alumni. It's not just like, it's not my responsibility to conduct podcast sessions with all alumni. We can never do it. So it will be great if you can conduct sessions with anyone you want and come and discuss.
This is a great platform to do that.
Absolutely. It's not that every session has to be conducted by me. But what I really wanted to also understand is everything that must have transpired in your life. Now you're sitting here. So what happened before this?
So, I always start with this, that I've gotten the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom is a Bengali.
Okay.
And my dad is a Marwadi, or was a Marwadi. And I was born in Calcutta, did my schooling from a school called Nopani.
No pani.
Yeah, no water, no energy. So it was there in North Calcutta, and then my 11 and 12 from St. Lawrence. And when I was appearing for my Madhyamik, one of my friend's mothers told my mom, she used to take me to the exam hall at that time, and that my son is going to prepare for IIT in class 11 and 12.
Okay.
What will your son do? And then my mom came and told me, what is this IIT? And then I started preparing, and I had some amazing teachers right through school and in 11 and 12.
But this incident was you were in which class?
Class 10.
Class 10.
Madhyamik,
right.
So that is how, and the day the results came out, this is July 22nd, that is also the anniversary of my parents.
Okay.
And so it was a great day for us.
This is the result of Madhyamik?
Of IIT.
Of IIT,
yeah,
okay.
This is 2004 I'm talking. And the first time, when we went to IIT, that was for the counselling, which happened in Raman Auditorium there.
Right.
And IIT used to send a bus to the railway station, and a senior along with that. So the senior at that time was this person called Devjit Sen.
You're talking about counselling?
Yeah, 2004. This is, I'm talking about August, July, August 2004. And he told me right before we entered the campus, he told me, close your eyes. He told all the students, close your eyes. And now,
as you all were coming in the bus.
Yeah, and just before the main building was to be seen, he then told us, now open your eyes and see. And right there in front of us stood the main building. And two things stood out, dedicated to the service of the nation, and that bust of Dr. B.C. Roy. These are the two things that
you see.
Yeah, and the structure,
of course,
obviously,
the tower,
Indian Institute of Technology written, the tower, and it still gives me goosebumps to think of that moment, because what you have been dreaming of becomes a reality, and that was. So I thought that was a great way to introduce the institute to you.
Devjit was a BTech student,
He was a BTech, and he was at that time in third year.
Okay.
So in Nehru Bal, and so that's how we got introduced.
So just to take a quick break there. When we were studying, when we went for counselling always happens at a time when it was summer vacations.
Yeah.
So normally the BTechs were not there. So all of counselling would happen with the MTechs, research scholars, and the professors.
Oh, that's right.
So for us, we didn't meet with the BTechs. However, when we were about to go from third year to final year, Dean Student Affairs was Professor H.S. Ray, and he called us in. Metallurgy, that's right. And he called us in and he said that before the summer vacation started, he really, I was supposed to take over as GSEC Socken Cult and all that. So it's called some of us who were active in the Gymkhana and all that. And he's really requested us to come early so that we could attend the counseling of the incoming batch.
Okay.
And primarily because he felt that the counseling happens without the interaction with the existing peer group, with the students. And he felt that it was very important that people who came for counseling, they got a chance to interact with the BTechs who were studying there. And one objective was also that at that point of time, IIT Kharagpur was not getting most of the top rankers, even from because counseling would happen region wise. So even in eastern region, the top rankers who came were choosing other IITs, and the brief to us was that we needed to actually use our best abilities to convince when people came for counseling so that they would choose IIT. So I'm happy to know that that's something that started that continued and
so that's how IIT got introduced to us in a more physical, tangible form, and then I just filled up the first option in my counseling as IIT Kharagpur and metallurgy.
Okay.
Because I had fallen in love with chemistry because of my teacher in class 11 and 12, who happened to be the ex-HOD of the Department of Chemistry at IIT Kharagpur.
Oh.
Professor S.K. Palit.
So he had retired and then he became...
Yes. And he never used to take school students. So I tell this story very fondly because his house was in Salt Lake and I live in Lake Town.
Okay.
So every Sunday I used to go to his house at 10 o'clock and he had a huge library. And obviously because he had always taught college, BTech, postgraduate students, so all the books he had were of that level. So when I used to come to his house, I would sit in his library. He would give me these 4 or 5 books and tell me, read this chapter from these 4 or 5 books, topic the chapter. And then he would come back after an hour with a cup of tea in his hand. And then he would tell me, Ebar jigesh karo, now ask me questions. And so I would, whatever I would have read, without knowing that they are not necessarily from school level, because these are all MTech, PhD, BTech level books, I would ask him questions.
Beautiful.
And his style was that every question is a question, which is important. There is no bad question or dumb question, and he would be also curious to know why I am thinking or asking a certain question. So it was a dialogue of questions and answering and possibilities.
Right. And this was almost one-on-one.
This was one-on-one. He never took school students. I don't know why he took me. My mom got to know about him from a relative, and that's how. And in this process, I distinctly remember, we all remember this time, right, when there is this magical connection with the subject. Like you remember that this is how you understand. So there was this question which was carbon-hydrogen bond and carbon-deuterium bond.
Okay.
Which bond is stronger? And in normal school books, there is that mass of hydrogen is less, deuterium is higher, and so on. And the book he gave me, I had read something about Professor Yukawa and pi meson theory of the nucleus, and I connected some things with that. And I told him, sir, is this a possibility? And then we had a full discussion of 1 hour on that. And then I thought that, okay, science is not about just one possibility. Science, you can reach to the same conclusion with different paths. And it still gives me goosebumps because that was the time I realized that, okay, this is how you have to think. So, and that made me fall in love with chemistry. When I took metallurgy in IIT Kharagpur, I thought it would be a lot of chemistry. When I went into the second year, I found that it was there was no chemistry. It was mostly, physics, maths, as engineering mostly is. So in my second year, I took a lot of subjects in the Department of Chemistry.
Okay.
I took up an internship at ISC Bangalore also, in the Department of Material Science. And by the end of the second year, I realized that this is not what I wanted.
The metallurgy part of it.
I mean, sitting in a research lab, letting machines do the work, and somehow I felt that is not where my calling lay. So sometimes in order to figure out the path, you have to say no to
of course.
a lot of things. And metallurgy as a department, I found that the professors were the most endearing, loving professors.
Okay.
And we had compared to the batch sizes now, we were 18 students in BTech in metallurgy, which
that's
is much less as compared to
very, very new thing that has happened where huge batch
sizes, right?
I think it's changed everything.
Every professor knew us, and there was this personal connection.
Yeah.
So I had started this department magazine called Metakriti.
Okay.
And so I got a chance to interview professors, talk to them. And in my third year internship, I got an internship in the US in New York. It was in a B school.
Okay.
And we as BTech students are not allowed to go for internships which are not related to science STEM.
Okay.
But our HOD at that time, Professor Nirupam Chakraborty, he said, I know you. I know that you are not going to go into core metallurgy. So you go for this internship. I will look at things. And because this was management and technology, integration of that, and that was the kind of freedom that our professors gave us to explore. And they never said that you have taken metallurgy, so you have to focus on this. They understood the talents or the interests of the students, and that is why I'm very, very fond of our department. Professor S.K. Roy and Professor Rahul Mitra were my guides. All the teachers were, the department had a mechanism by which at the end of every course, you had to do a presentation.
Okay.
And in that presentation, because it was a public presentation, so every student would work hard. Because it was not just a written exam, which is what happens in almost all the other cases.
Right.
So I thought these are some of the things academically
which shaped you also.
Yes, in terms of developing communication skills. And since you have been there, real life at IIT starts after 5:30 p.m. right? So after all the courses would get over, I never remember a day when I slept before 3:30 or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was active in the Gymkhana. I was the secretary of dramatics.
Okay.
I was involved with the fests, Spring Fest.
Yeah.
And a governor of the English Technology Dramatic Society.
Yeah.
And a host of activities, including starting the technology transfer group.
Okay. So you all were involved as students in setting up.
We used to take up the technologies or products that the professors were building in their departments. Figure out how to present them better, market them, and we had also conducted an event called INDAC, Industry Academia, where we got a lot of companies to come and visit and did an expo.
Okay.
So it did lead to some good results, and
technology transfer is something that happens. I mean, there is an important, but I didn't know that you all started a students' movement around it.
Yes, and this was under PPC when he was the Dean of SRIC.
Okay.
So, these are some of the things that happened while being at IIT. One of the things that I also share is I was an all-rounder there in the campus, and people were expecting me to get a job on day one, which is and it so happened that I got shortlisted for 2 big companies
on day one. Okay.
The final round of interviews, and the interviews carry on till late night.
Yeah.
So you are absolutely jaded. So in one of the companies in Schlumberger, in fact, they asked me, if you get selected for this company and the other company, which one will you take? And I said the other company. So naturally, that was not a good, diplomatic answer there. And the other company.
But that you said that because you meant that?
I meant that. I mean, because the other company, by the way, was Lehman Brothers.
Okay.
So.
And this was 2005, you said?
I'm in the final year in 2007.
2007.
December 2007.
Oh, and 2008 is when.
So, and that was the first time, and I did not get selected for both. And then day 2, day 3, I got my placement on day 4. And.
But good for you, you didn't get selected for, you would have taken Lehman Brothers for a year and then.
So, in hindsight, all the things that happen for a reason. And so, essentially, those 3-4 days were really harrowing for me.
The campus?
Yeah, in the campus. Because, everyone my nickname was Bhatu. So, how did Bhatu not get placed? This is the kind of thing. And then.
So harrowing this is an important point. Okay, so it's not that you will not get placed, but there's a certain expectation which has got built because of who you are and what the perception you have created, and then this happens that you did not get placed on day one or whatever.
I'm sharing this because I think imagine you are right now thinking about just some of your batchmates, and imagine what the students today are facing given social media and all of that. It gets amplified so many times.
That's what I'm trying to really go a little deeper into. When you said it was harrowing, you knew that placement would happen, but what was going on?
So essentially, so I call this the 5 C's of life. So when we are in school and college, the first C that we are running after is CGPA.
Okay.
Or the grade, right? After that, in college, the final year is all about CTC.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And you are judged by that number, right? Like, for example, your CGPA, you're judged like this is an LE 9.
Yeah, nowadays there's some other acronym, LPA or something like that.
CTC is that LPA only, right?
So for our time, it was actually what is the scale and all that. Then a little later, CTC came in, is the cost of company, and then nowadays I hear LPA, which is lakhs per annum. I suppose it will become CPA sometime soon, where it will be crores per annum and all that. Okay.
So
what are the other C's you were talking
about? So the other C's are like after you go out from college, then comes your CIBIL score. You're looking at building a good. Mm-hmm. Then comes the car that you must get a car, and finally, when you're done with all of this, then comes cholesterol. So
good one.
It's the different phases of life, and what are the numbers we are chasing essentially.
Right.
And the pressure at that time was that obviously you are going to get placed. Right?
Yeah.
But the pressure is that you are expected to achieve a certain CTC at that time, or lakhs per annum. And obviously that is at the highest when you are on day 1 or day 2, like that. Mm-hmm. So that pressure is something we impose on ourselves because we expect to meet the expectations of others more than ourselves. And eventually...
we also build this notion about our own selves onto others. We have created this image which others think, which we have to then live up to.
And only when you step out of the institute that you realize that real life is not what is there in the institute. Because in institute, your gods and the studs are your seniors, right? Mostly. And then you realize that, they also don't know anything once you step out into the real world. And it was during our convocation that it was said that as IITians, we should not be job seekers, we should be job creators.
Right.
And that is a statement that made a very profound impact on me. Mm-hmm. And the greatest impact on me starting my journey of entrepreneurship has been my father. My father has...
you said you changed from is to was, that means he's...
Yeah, he passed away in 2014.
14, okay.
So this is 2008, I'm talking about our convocation, and he has been the force. He has always said this one thing to me.
And he was in business?
Yeah, he was in business. Right.
Like
so
Marwari Mills?
I'm a half Bengali, half
as you
Marwari.
Said, yeah.
So he had the business thing.
And the business was?
Medicine.
He had mother has been in housemaking? Yeah. Okay.
So they had a love marriage and all, eloped and all. That's a separate story. But
okay.
so
and siblings? You are?
No, I am the only child.
Only
child. And so he always had this thing where he used to tell this to me कि तुम जो भी करोगे अच्छा करो. This is the kind of faith.
अच्छा करो. Yeah, अच्छा करोगे.
Okay. He knows. Beautiful. He knows that whatever you'll do it. Mm-hmm. So if I'm taking any sort of, like for example, when I was in class 6, he gave me the car. We had a Maruti 800 at that time, and I said that go, you drive. My mom is freaking out like you're giving a challenge. No, he'll take. So immense amount of faith and belief that he is going to do things in the right way. So my dad told me only one thing. He said, you work for 1 year. Naukri 1 saal kar lo. After that, you do whatever you want. So I was working in Bombay in a startup. So we lost our first job, the one that we got from the campus. We were, after 6 months, we were all laid off.
Because that was 2007-8.
This is 2008 December I'm talking about. And our company told us that all our projects that were supposed, it was an analytics company from Africa, Middle East, all that has gone down the drain. So we can't have such a big. So it was done, and I joined another company. It was a startup by IIT Bombay graduates in Bombay itself, and I worked there for 4 months. Joined there as an analyst, but then I told them that you give me some business development work. I think I can utilize my skills better. So I used to work in the night shift on my own volition, because the clients were in Europe and US.
Okay.
So, and they didn't have to push me for that. In 3 months, I brought them more business than they had generated in a year through some, I got a promotion in that time, and the day I got a promotion, I quit my job.
And that was paying heed to what your father had
Father
said.
told me that, and essentially my father's idea was that you learn first how to do it.
Correct.
And then you do that. And by that time, I was already laying the foundation of starting up a company in Calcutta in education.
Okay.
It was not by design that it had to be education. On the 31st of January 2009, we had done a workshop in Science City Auditorium.
And when you said we?
So I had happened to meet 3 more of my batchmates from IIT Kharagpur.
Okay.
And they wanted to do an event where they wanted to promote this platform called targetiit.com, which was a online platform, one of the first in the country at that time, to do doubt clearing for students who wanted to prepare for IIT. I had a friend in Telegraph, Paromita. She was a journalist there. I sent her that we want to do this event. Can you help us? At that time, there is no company name, nothing. So on the night, she asked us to send us a brief write-up. We decide that we will call the company EduDime.
Oh.
Paradigm in education.
No, because I've seen EduDime around a lot. Yeah.
So 29 January at 4 a.m. we are naming the company as EduDime. And she put up a huge article in Career Graph. You know Career Graph?
Yeah.
On the last page, a half pager, she puts up this article, and the name of the article is Calling Future IITians. We got 300 calls within a span of 2 days. The whole Science City auditorium of that 400 mini auditorium was full. And I got my friends, other KGPians like Krishna Mehra, and there were other friends who were studying in IIM Calcutta. I told all of them, come, and we'll have a panel discussion. For the first time, realize things from the other side. I mean, so far we were recipients of education.
Yeah.
This time we were hearing things from the other side as providers or prospective providers of education. And the gap was just humongous. It was something that we never had looked at it from that lens.
But when you say gap here, you mean gap in your own sense of what people were expecting?
Yes, what people were expecting, what they were getting. They were not clear about anything. They did not know what to do. They did not like studying things, but they were being imposed because of the system. And it was at that time when I felt that this is a sector that
you would want to
do something. That's the thing. So I used to come almost every alternate weekend to Calcutta. Indigo had just started.
So this is from Bombay.
From Bombay, and set up meetings with schools here.
But this is not before you had quit your job.
This is the setting up the
path for the quitting.
So I started doing some, you could say, reconnaissance, right? That figuring out.
Sure.
So I started talking to schools like South Point, Heritage, DPS. Met with some mentors who were, big in the industry at that time, and understanding from them is what I'm going to do. So kind of like need in the market. And by May, I was clear that there has to be a time when you press the eject button.
Yeah.
And when I told my mom, because I had not told my mom about this, she freaked out. She was like, who leaves a good high-paying job in Bombay and comes to Calcutta? Because it has that kind of a thing. And since then, it's been 16 years.
Yeah, 2009, and then so it continues to remain EduDime is what you are still doing?
Now it has evolved into Eduverse.
Okay.
So
It's the same thing that has evolved into EduWars?
it's an absolutely, because you are talking about a journey. Uh, I I like the word metamorphosis a lot. The first time you've read Kafka's Metamorphosis, so like Phoenix, metamorphosis is one of the words. I kind of found the journey to be in 4 phases, like the metamorphosis of a butterfly. So 2009 to 14, the first 5 years, we were just doing things.
And this is when you say we, it's the same 3-4 people who conducted
four
the
of
workshop.
Us, yes, we were co-founders, and we were building a platform in 2009, but it was not giving any money. And we, at that time, funding was not really the in thing, right?
Okay.
In 2009. So we thought, what if we could take some classes and generate some revenue from there, and that would be invested
Funded
in
to do the
building
platform.
So we went to Durgapur to conduct this exam, and there the parents were like, you have to come here and teach our students. In 2 weeks, we got 300 students there.
In Durgapur.
In Durgapur. And I remember this meeting with the principal of DAV school, Durgapur. Within 5 minutes, she said, you can use my school to conduct your classes. We are on. And that started, we started to go to Durgapur on every Saturday. We used to take a car at 4 a.m., reach there at 7 a.m. 7:30 to 8:30 p.m., we would do 2 batches.
Okay.
Again, Sunday.
And this is all again the target IIT.
This is IIT 11, 12 fully. And again on Sunday, we would take 1 batch, come back to Calcutta and take 1 more batch. So we thought, fine, Saturday, Sunday, we are working on this while the other 2 will work on the platform.
Okay.
But then things started to grow in Calcutta in a big way. Our results and students started to get into IIT. We produced a top ranker. My students won the bronze medal in the International Chemistry Olympiad.
Okay.
So
chemistry had lived on through you.
Yeah. So chemistry and physics, these are 2 of my most loved subjects.
So Professor Palit lives.
Yes. So a lot of my students, in fact, yesterday when I was in Delhi, on the way back, I met one of my students. So it, as a teacher, that is one of the best things. But by 2012, I was at least having a burnout because I was teaching around 50 hours a week.
Understood.
And gradually you start feeling that, is this what I
really
started for?
Yeah.
And the other 2 co-founders had different visions. They wanted to essentially focus on making a coaching institute. I wanted to make education, quality education, accessible and affordable.
Okay.
And that could be only done through a platform using technology. So we parted ways at that time.
This is 2014.
This is 2012.
12.
And then we started, focusing more on developing the platform, which we developed, launched it as Eklavya, and that got started using in schools. So we got 20,000 students on the platform, but a digital platform in India, at that point, people were not really willing to pay.
Sure.
That is a big, so while we had 20,000 users, 200 of them would, pay. So we still continued with our classroom program, and then I made a lot of mistakes. I started a franchising model.
Okay.
We did not have the systems, we did not have the right tracking mechanism, we did not have the right method to choose who to partner with. So after a year and a half, we had 17 centers, 5 owned and 12 with franchisees. It did not work out. Then in 2016, we thought...
and now this we is you
have 2 of us.
Okay.
And so then we thought that, why should we invest in infrastructure? Schools already have the infrastructure. Why should we invest in putting up big, if you've seen, there was a time when we used to put full page ads in Telegraph Times of India, a lot of advertising we used to do. And we thought schools already have the students. So why have such a high customer acquisition cost? So we started tying up with schools.
Okay.
And in 2017, we landed up with one of our big government projects with the government of West Bengal for SC/ST students. But during this time, 16-17, I distinctly remember we used to conduct this visit to IIT Kharagpur for school students.
Okay.
On Foundation Day during Kshitij.
Yeah.
So this is January 2017, and I took students from all the schools here, and I find that they are not interested in the people or the institute or things. They are only interested in taking their photos. And this is when, that influx of social media and phones had already started. And I did not enjoy going to classes anymore. Because earlier, as a teacher, what is the thing that you enjoy the most? Like I told you about Professor Palit, Jigesh Kaur, right? You like to be the curiosity in the students.
Sure.
And as a teacher, your main job is to do that, right? How do you make them curious? And I did not find that was happening. The students were no longer asking questions. So it was no longer a challenge. Earlier, when I used to teach in Durgapur and the best of these students, if I had a 3-hour class, I would prepare for 6 hours.
Because there would be questions and...
Yeah. And it stopped being a challenge after that. So it was around this time that I was looking at that the vision is to, impact more learners. But what I'm doing right now with EduDime is not happening. It is around this time that PPC called me one of the days. He said that about NDLI, National Digital Library of India. And he said that I want you to do a presentation on how you can lead the school division.
Okay.
And he gave me a brief idea about that he wanted more engagement on the platform. So he said that can we form some school clubs?
Right.
I made that concept note in 5 hours the next day, sent it to him within a week, made the presentation at IIT Kharagpur, got approved, and then started as the CEO of the school division of National Digital Library. And those...
So that means that was a job or that was a...
So I was hired as the CEO.
Okay.
While my company was being run by we had staff like around 60-70 people at that time, and with the government project we had another 200 people. So that was an autoport. And I remember working extremely hard because we were building the platform, we were building all the things, very exciting at that time. And we were able to build these clubs to around 1,000 schools in the country.
And this was a job from IIT, or this?
I was working, so because this was this ND-like club project.
Yeah.
So I was able to set up an office here, which was funded by SRIC IIT, and I was able to operate the whole team, everything like that.
But it was not like an IIT job. It was like more like a contract thing, or what was it?
It was a contract with IIT.
With IIT.
Yeah, and we were given our targets that this is what you have to achieve under the NDLI project.
Okay.
So it was under the NDLI project, but I got my entire planning. There was no interference from.
Understood.
Yeah, that is how. And we were a team of around 40 people.
And the 1,000 clubs are in West Bengal or in all over India?
Across the country.
Okay.
And so this required me to do presentations, go to schools. We had a whole team of outreach. We used to do massive events and get schools to sign up and then conduct the events in the schools. So the idea was very simple. If you want students to read certain things on the library, they don't want to go on their own, right? Nobody, that's the biggest problem. How do you get them to go there? So you form a club and you give them a host of activities to do. Now suppose you have Independence Day coming, right? So for Independence Day, you have to conduct a quiz in your school. We share that these are some of the resources that you can read. So essentially
there's the incentive to...
Okay. And then of course the other incentives are recognition, certificates. We had a point system. So every school got points. So we were able to create that kind of where the club becomes the activity center and the NDLI becomes the knowledge center. And we were able to connect them. So this is something that happened. And then the pandemic happened. So this phase from 2014 till my father passed away, 2019, is what I call as the larva phase, where I was doing things. We had our EduDime was generating good revenue. We were growing very fast. And then pandemic. And we had and in 2018, I got selected for the Stanford Seed Transformation.
Okay.
So in my transformation plan, we had a digital transformation to be done in 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
This is 2019. Yeah. And then with the pandemic happening in 2020, we were not prepared at all. All our offline centers, everything came to a standstill. of course, NDLI being a digital platform,
Still,
it actually got a boost, right?
Yeah.
Because we were then able to curate resources for exam prep and all that. We were able to do some massive webinars attended by thousands and thousands of school leaders, principals. So for NDLI, it was good. For EduTime, not so good. Right? And at that time, one of the things as an entrepreneur I did was I did not fire a single person from my company. I told them that we need to take some pay cuts because our revenue has suddenly shrunk. And during that time during that phase of adversity for 2 to 3 years.
And while all this is happening, you got married and all that?
I got married in 2014. So my father passed away on 22nd March.
Okay.
I got married on the 1st of July.
1st of July.
Yeah. So
he missed the marriage.
Yeah, he was there at the time when we had the Roka, the engagement ceremony. But so I got married at that time, and then.
And she's into your.
She is a chartered accountant, Shriji, and she works as a manager of finance in Railtel Corporation.
Okay.
So our offices are very close by in Sector 5, and she looks after our accounts and all like that. So, 2019, all things were hunky-dory, Stanford Seed happened, and suddenly 2020, this happens. And then what I decided was that obviously this whole offline model is not going to be the future. So we started experimenting a lot, and we started working with AI at that time.
Okay.
When AI was not the in thing.
Right.
So PPC and we started a project called AI for Schools. I launched a platform called ExamFit, which would be all exams under the sun, and very good analytics around it, and more experiments. And that phase, which I now call from 2020 to 25, gave birth to Eduverse.
Eduverse, okay.
So now we have become more of an incubation, research, innovations company, where we are doing a lot of small experiments.
Okay.
And because we work with so many schools.
And incubation at the school level?
At the school level.
Beautiful.
So we are K-12.
Beautiful.
Focus on K-12 market. And our good thing is that we already have 500 plus schools that we have worked with. So they know us. So when we take a new idea to them, they are willing to try it.
Yeah.
And that's the product market fit that you are able to establish. So now Eduverse is at a stage where we have 8 areas of focus with stream, science, technology.
And EduTime is what has become Eduverse, or this is a separate one?
EduTime is one of the areas of focus where
EduTime continues.
Still remains as one of the verticals which focuses on.
And your co-founder there is.
So co-founder left at the time in 2020.
2020, okay.
He had a very unfortunate incident that his sister passed away because of COVID.
Okay.
And at that time we were going through a rough patch.
Yeah.
And so he thought it's better to move to Bangalore for a more safer, stable.
Okay.
And we had some massive financial problems at that time because I told you about the government project.
Yeah.
We had a lot of money stuck there, and over a course of time that got paid back to us, and we were able to all the salaries which we we deferred salaries. We did not cut salaries. So all those things were taken
cleared
care of when there was a massive amount of money stuck. So and we were able to wade through that difficult phase. So at that time now I was the only one left. And this phase has been a sort of a warrior phase where I had decided that in order for you to figure things out in this market with AI being there, you cannot say that what is working for me today
will work tomorrow. Yeah, of course.
So the only way to go ahead in the forward is to keep trying new things.
Oh, absolutely.
And figuring out this works and then tweaking it. So, and now eventually we have ended up into a model where I believe that because you've been in education for such a long time, I know that you have seen multiple waves of this thing coming, this technology. One of the basic things that I believe you know that education as a beast cannot be tamed by looking at it from one angle.
Absolutely.
If you want to solve the problem of education and of attention span, of motivation, you cannot just say that I have content, or you cannot just say that I have delivery tools or platforms. And technology is not one the only answer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is a multifaceted problem which needs multifaceted, attacking it from different angles. My current approach is just that you have some very strong frameworks and create new contexts. Each company is a context in itself, right? So, for example, EduDymes, it focuses on making JEE NEET preparation more enjoyable and stress-free. So the students are enjoying the process of learning, just like how I had prepared, let's say. We never focused on the exam. We focused on the subject, loving the subject. Exam is a format, which gets taken care of. Similarly, AI, robotics, these are things which students need to be trained on. So we are now working with hundreds of schools in setting up their labs, providing them low-cost kits. And one of the biggest things that happened for me in the last 2.5 years, and I tell this that my mother is the reason behind it. So one day, I was telling my mom,
just like that Madhyamik type.
Yes. So
when someone said she learned about IIT and then you were in IIT.
So I have this joke where I say that Newton's first law, every body continues to be in a state of lath unless acted upon by Ma. And the second law is Ma gives the momentum and the direction. And when Ma does not get the required action, she gives an equal and ferocious reaction. So this is, I was talking to we are movie buffs.
Okay.
So I was asking my mom, I was trying to build this framework. And I was asking her, can you give me names of people who have been script writers, who have been actors, singers, directors and producers, all at the same time. So from my recent times, I was able to say that Farhan Akhtar is one of them.
Yeah.
Farhan Akhtar. And then I told her, can you give me some more names? And she said that Guru Dutt ji is one of those people. And then I got a whole cluster of people like Sylvester Stallone. He has been all four. And Jackie Chan has been all four. So basically the idea was that in order for you to be a great teacher in the 21st century, or for that matter any time, you have to be a great script writer.
Yeah.
You have to be having domain expertise. You like PPC, Palitzer, they are experts in their domain, right? And not just their domain, they can connect it to multiple domains. Then, so that's your domain expertise, that's a script writer. Then you have to be able to, the knowledge might be great, but if you can't deliver in a manner which is enchanting, which makes the learner excited, think and reflect. So that's the actor singer part. So your delivery enchantment. Your delivery has to be enchanting. The student has to say that this is far better than what I get on YouTube. Because the competition is not with another teacher. The competition is today with YouTube, games, social media. That's what is taking their time. Then the teacher has to, like a director, has to put all these scenes together in a coherent manner so that the learner or the
actual imbibing happens.
And the learning cannot stop in the classroom, right? The main thing has to happen that when they go and actually, on their own open the books and read. So that's the director part. And finally, after you've done all these things, you will be asked for like, what are the results? Because eventually, like in a box office, the producer has to say that, was my movie a hit? So this is, so that can only be done by data. That is where if you can't measure anything, you can't improve it. So design empathy is the third one, where you put the learner at the center and put the entire thing like that. Because movie watching is passive. Teaching learning is much more dynamic and active. So you keep the learner at the center. And finally, you have data to track. And from there, you can personalize and things. This is the 4D framework. By doing this analogy with movies. And we can do a similar analogy because...
We did a program long time back for training drivers. You met Ram some time back. So Ram had started his career with me as a trainee when I had first returned from US and set up India's first e-learning company here in Kolkata in Sector 5. So we were amongst the first few companies to have internet connection. And Ram, 96, Ram with a couple of his friends would Ram is an engineer, and he and a couple of his friends would come to actually see what is internet, because they knew there are these one or two companies where internet access, and that's how they joined us. So those 3 years he was with us, then he was kind of just waiting to escape from this country. Everything about this country was bad, and then all the West and the developed countries is where everything was. So 3 years later he got his chance, and then when he went, and then he became a very big shot in the travel and tourism industry. He was working finally. I mean, he was after a lot of different circuits. He was heading, I think, the Asia Pacific of a company called Focusrite, which is the gold standards in the travel and tourism industry and all that. So later on, then finally, by the time he had enough of all of that, he used to be keynote speakers in different conferences and all that. He calls me up and says that I'm done with this, I want to come back to India. That's when he had kept in touch, and he came back, and we set up, after all various different things, we set up what we were calling focused learning companies. So again, the platform was Omnidel, which is similar to what you were talking about. Omnidel stands for omnidimensionally engaged life and learning. So it's how you engage with people in multiple dimensions, exactly what you were saying. So that's the kind of a framework that we'd come up with. And we were deploying this framework in different verticals. So we were in the path to set up different what we call focused learning companies, which would be focused on certain verticals or domains. So Ram's was the first such experiment, and because he came with the bandwidth from the travel and hospitality, so our first experiment was in the travel and hospitality domain. And everyone, all the experts in the domain, they told us that it's the drivers first who need training. Because in the hospitality sector, the first point of contact is the driver.
Right.
And in our country, drivers are not trained. They are not even trained in the driving part of it. That's kind of self-learned. But the rest of it, the soft skills part, there is no question. And that's where they are actually interacting with the customers and the consumers of that.
That matters a lot.
So there's a huge, massive soft skills training program that we took up. And those were times when the cab business was getting aggregated. Meru cabs and radio taxis were coming in. It was pre-Ola, Uber and all that.
Yes.
So we did some thousands and thousands of drivers training all over the country. 2012 was the Mahakumbh. So we actually did a project for UP government where in 3-4 months we trained all the auto drivers, rickshaw drivers and all that about, again, soft skills, because so many people would come. Now, why I am saying all this is because in that, the first drivers training program that we launched in this Omnidel format was actually called Pavan Ko Kahin Dekha Kya. This was the name of the training program. And as you can understand, it has this
intrigue and
it's almost like Saas Bhi Kahi, those kind of names.
Yes.
And it has that movie type kind of a thing. And in the whole design of it was done in a manner, because ultimately by then I had already realized that all of these were opportunities to actually do what I wouldn't say what I call, but what has been called Dharma Sangsthapan. So you're actually, all that you can do through education is to establish Dharma. We've kind of already, from various personal life issues, reached that point. So we were just utilizing this opportunity, this great opportunity to do driver's training to establish Dharma. So Pavan was a character. So this was a hybrid program where there would be classroom, online, all of this together, but it was 2012-13, so we couldn't really deliver a lot of video online. Rich media couldn't be delivered online. So our rich media part was in the classroom using offline
Right.
stuff, video, multimedia and all that. All the data part was online. That was the time of this hybrid, as you can, from your platform experiences, those were the hybrid times. So Pawan was a character which, so the drivers would come to the class, and this was an experience that was designed for anytime, anywhere kind of thing. So they would get into a room, and there's an instructor or a facilitator who's not a subject matter expert, who just kind of knows how to. What in our paradigm we call that person the lead learner.
Okay.
It's not even an instructor or facilitator.
So you put them on the same.
No, it's the lead learner, because his role is almost like when you are, when you go let's say, when you get pulled into dancing. Any party or any people start dancing, then people are sitting, everyone is not dancing, but then there's a lead person who starts, and then everyone joins in. So this is what we understood was a very important role. So we created what we call learning experiences. And in fact, in our team, we didn't have what typically would be called instructional designers and all that. We called that team the LEXD team, which meant or stood for learning experience designers. And they're still all around in different places. There's a phenomenally good team that we had, very talented people in that LEXD team we had been able to create. But anyway, I'm just trying to describe the learning experience and tie it up with what you were mentioning. So the learning experience was this, that the drivers would come in, and then this person would start off the video, in-class video, where there is a person who says on the video, and this is a Sardarji, turban like me, would say that, okay, welcome, we are, all of you have come, and very good, we are waiting, Pawan is going to come, he's going to start the training program. So this guy on the screen is just like a introducer. He says, and he introduces Pawan. Pawan is like the guys who have come here. He is a driver who had started his career as a driver, and then he has kind of grown, and and he started his own fleet of cars. He's got drivers from his village and all that, and now the drivers look up to him. So he's actually now become a trainer.
Wonderful.
Rather than a driver. So this is the character that this introducer is kind of establishing, and says that Pawan will come any moment, and he just establish all this. Then he suddenly gets a call and says that where he is, Arey, Pawan ko mil nahi raha hai, Pawan is not coming, kahan gum ho gaya, and Pawan is not to be found.
इसीलिए पवन को देखा.
So पवन को कहीं देखा. So he says, पवन को ढूंढो, कहाँ ढूंढेंगे and all that. Anyway, he says, but y'all have attended, you have landed up now. Anyway, let me see. So there is a diary. Pawan actually conducts his session, and he has a diary which he uses to conduct his session. So his diary was there on the table because he was supposed to come. His diary is there. So he says, anyway, आप लोग ढूंढो, he's on the phone, आप लोग ढूंढो, मैं देखता हूँ, तब तक इन लोगों को engage रखता हूँ. So he picks up the diary, and in the diary he keeps flipping, and he actually conducts the whole day session. And each of those, in the diary, there are 6 different chapters. These 6 chapters are all pertaining to the 6 core kind of soft skills that you would want to impart to the drivers. Each of those, it will be hard for me to remember the exact names, but each of those chapters were based on the names of a particular movie. So we connected each soft skill to a particular movie. And this was all that this.
So easy and to relate, right?
So Pawan was a fan of Shah Rukh, so and a fan of this. So everything is movie, and we bring in those movie ideas.
I tell you what we are doing currently, and absolutely, I can, it's just like relate to this so well. So one of the days, I was going in the elevator of my building, and I saw this my neighbor. She was in class 7 at that time. She was putting stickers of Korean boys in the elevator. Stickers.
Korean boys.
I asked her why, and she said they are a group of singers. They are a band. So I asked her, are they that good? She said, yes, they are good, but they are even better looking. And then I found out more. So she said that they are BTS. BTS is a K-pop band, which I'm sure.
What band?
BTS. BTS. It's a K-pop Korean band. Music.
Okay.
And since you don't know about it, so you can understand the disconnect that we have with the current generation, right? You're talking about, let's say, Sylvester Stallone. No, they don't know Sylvester Stallone because they have somebody else as their. So, what we have done essentially is taken all these superheroes. They are fans of Marvel, Iron Man, Batman, Spider-Man. In fact, we have also taken some of these people like Feluda, Sherlock Holmes, because they have
well known.
These are all popular characters. And our focus is that students don't have the right role models today. And for us, in one of our domains called STEM Powered, we focus on making. Do you remember that ad of Intel where there is this founder or the creator of USB, Ajay Bhatt? He's coming, there are people who are going crazy, and he's signing, and Intel says, our heroes are not like your heroes. And Intel is essentially saying that we have a culture where we worship innovators. This is what Intel, through that ad of celebrating Ajay Bhatt as a celebrity, was. So what we want the children to do is we want them to celebrate the lives of these inventors, creators, technologists, scientists. Now, they do. If you directly tell them that, have you read about Marie Curie or James Chadwick or any of these people? Not. So what we are doing is we have taken books and assessments where the superheroes are coming and asking for these scientists for help. So we are saying a Cape Crusader in the city of Gotham wants to solve a mystery, but he cannot. So he takes help of this famous chemist or Nobel laureate called Marie Curie. So the student, and then and we put this beautifully in the form of where the background is with, it's a dark background with bats and all there. So for the student, it is like they're reading a comic book. But they're actually, through the process, they're not only learning about these scientists who we want them to become their role models, they're also understanding the concepts of science, maths, everything.
So this is, what you're saying just rings so many bells because we did, as you can understand, a lot of similar things. And then I would do all this and at certain points just junk it because it still didn't. I still didn't feel that it was helping me to really solve the fundamental problems. We're all step by step. We did a lot of exactly the kind of thing that you're saying. But and that I would say just what I was mentioning. So Pawan ko kahin dekha kya in that also, just as an example. The point is, I mentioned this, that for me it was an opportunity to do Dharma Sangsthapan. So where is that bit? So what I realized is that when we used, the first problem was to make education interesting.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, that was the first phase of my career. When we really, as you can understand, did a lot of that, then I felt that, my God, it is still not working because, for example, ITC, which was one of our major clients when I set up the first e-learning company and did a lot of, and we got venture funded way back in 2000. NIIT had invested in us and all that. But for ITC, we were training their 45,000 distributor salesmen, speaking 9 different languages. In that age and time, this was way back in 2002, 2003, 2004, around that time. Or even before, 1999, 2000, 45,000 distributor salesmen all over the country, and they are speaking 9 different languages. They are not really, even most of them not even graduates, so they are not computer literate.
Right.
And yet we are using the most leading edge technology at that point of time to really reach out to them and help them. But What am I teaching them? I am teaching them how selling skills.
Correct.
I'm teaching them product knowledge and all that, which is the mandate given to us. Now, when I teach them selling skills, and I'm not, till 2002, I'm not questioning myself. The fact that I am actually teaching them to sell more cigarettes. So it's that took time.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter, and that it's from 2002. It took a lot of time to then figure out how to. So when I'm talking about this, so why Pawan ko kahin dekha kya? The ultimate thing was not about. I mentioned the fact that there was this overlap with the movie idea and all that, but the real thing that happens there is that at the end of the program, they find, and that is the climax of the program is that they find that these in the video screen itself, some people come running and the camera zooms out, and then they realize that okay, it's a studio and all that. The people behind, then they said that Pawan ko mil gaya.
Acha.
Kahan mil gaya? Kya ho gaya? Everyone's so excited that the cameraman and all have come in front, and the scene gets revealed that this is a studio, it's shooting, opening and all that. And then Pawan ko mil gaya? Kahan mil gaya? Kaise ho gaya? And then the person who has been there, right, the protagonist who was using his diary and said Pawan ko nahi mil gaya, he removes his turban, and they see the turban and beard and all that he removes, and then they see that it's the same guy. Pawan has been shown on screen all the time.
Okay.
That this is Pawan, Pawan does this, Pawan does that. Now they see that it's the same person, and then he says that actually it is not that Pawan is someone else. Each of you is Pawan.
Oh my God, this is like we are doing this. I do this workshop called Aim for the Stars. And the workshop essentially starts with the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I show them the second paragraph because we all read the first paragraph, not the second one. And I show them a cover of the book called The Fault in Your Stars, and I show them the picture of Van Gogh's Starry Night, and I ask them what is the connect, and they say star. Right? And I say that education is the journey of microscope and telescope.
Okay.
Microscope is you looking inwards. Telescope is you looking outwards, finding out what problems you want to solve.
Sure.
And eventually, you are the star.
Absolutely.
Right. And so when you are saying Pawan ko kahin dekha kya, I say that you are the star.
Sure.
You like Kabir said na that Kamandal is there inside you, inside the mrek. Swami Vivekananda also talks about the same thing, that all power is within you. So in fact, I end by saying that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is essentially you are the wonder, and you are the star. So
absolutely.
So like you have said, Pawan ko kahin dekha ke you are the Pawan. Then similarly.
No, absolutely.
And I think you have named Karam Yog because you are a believer of Swami V. Yeah.
He's my advisory panel. I talk to him every day amongst the...
I mean, all the things where education, since we are in the field of serving people through education,
Sure.
It is about making people realize that you are already empowered. You just need to figure that.
Sure.
That's the thing. And with EduWords, that's where the next phase, which I know that will start at the end of this year, because we're still building platforms, and I know the answers are not there, but we'll figure it out going. Obviously, you have to keep, as I said, doing experiments. The butterfly phase, this was the pupa phase. Now the butterfly phase is where by 2030, so we have already impacted around 1 million students and 10,000 teachers through training and all of that. Is to reach out to impact 1 billion learners and educators by 2030.
Okay.
And that is with some of these core beliefs. Talking to you, I can not only connect with deeply, but also one of the things which I will take further help from you and your inputs is I have figured that in order to succeed both in work and in life, we need some principles and frameworks. And like we talked to you about the 4D framework, this one. The journey of any learning is what I'm now calling a 7E framework.
Okay.
Start with enthuse, explore, enjoy, enable, enhance, excel, enable, elevate, and empower. I mean, that's when empower is the phase where you are doing things for others, where you are empowering others. And similarly, I've created some personal frameworks also, where I call it the 888 to infinity, where you have 24 hours in a day. 8 hours is for sleep and all. 8 hours is for self.
Okay.
If you are not learning every day, if you are not physically fit, so it's both mental and physical health. And 8 hours for outside world, where you are interacting with people, your family, everything. How do you think these frameworks and principles important to make sure that I'll give you an example. My daughter changed. She's a 5.5-year-old, so she loves. So yesterday when I was in Delhi, the only thing she asks for nowadays is notepad and pen.
Okay.
Because she sees her dad scribbling and writing all the time. So she took my black pen and red pen. She changed their refills. And when I now try to write something, then I have to, I make a mistake because she has changed the refill. So that's the kind of, why environment is so important, is because the least bit of friction can sometimes cause us to, and therefore harmony is so important. So, how important do you think these frameworks in building anything going forward, principles and frameworks?
So, amongst the many gurus or the influencers, the ones who have really impacted me in phenomenal ways, one of them is Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee is not just because of his martial arts skills, but if you go deep, he's,
very
as a thinker,
philosophical thinker.
So, and as you know, his whole style that he came up with was called Jeet Kune Do, and which was fundamentally what it means is the style of no style. Because what he realized at that point of time when he was trying to really do things, and it's the same with in the field of tabla, if you see Zakir ji, the same thing, where especially when people go out from their cocoon, both in these cases you will see Bruce Lee and Zakir Bhai, they are going from their native land and actually establishing something in another land. They are fundamentally rooted in tradition,
right,
or what we can call a certain framework. But then they are also challenged by the fact that they are seeing so many new things. As they are open, as they open up and they allow the metamorphosis to happen, or the breeze and then the wind to blow through them, they open the windows. What you find is that they talk about very similar kind of things, which is the style of no style. Would you say Zakir ji has no style? Of course, his style, but then he's really conquered. Yeah. So Jeet Kune Do is again the style of no style, which really means that he felt that the real problem was that at that point of time, martial arts they were bounded by the schools.
Yes.
So the real need was to come out of the school. Now, when you come out of the school, what he sets up is also another school. So that is how these different schools have come up. You see that, okay, this is not completely working, so I have to, you modify it, bring something new, metamorphosis, a little more evolution and all that. But then that becomes another school. So he names his style in such a manner so it doesn't get trapped in this. So that's, I think, the best that I can think of in terms of answering your question. It's very, very important to have these frameworks, but not as traps, but to understand that this is to liberate us. The only purpose is to get out of the framework. The purpose of this framework is to get that, will it give me the escape velocity to escape out of it? So for example, Karma Yoga, you mentioned, and so for me and for us is part of this, not so much us, because there is really not any one single other person who really follows what I call Karma Yoga for 21st century. So in this, it's a sadhana paddhati, as we say. So just in, like you were talking about the models, we say Jagaran, Jigyasa, Adhyayan, Sadhana. Again, another framework,
Correct.
another model. Exactly like your 7 E's or 8 E's.
7 E's.
7 E's, if you see, they have flow in similar lines. Enthuse, Jagaran and all that. Now this Jagaran, Jigyasa, Adhyayan, Sadhana is not something that I am talking about. This is been there for thousands of years. Again, same thing.
Yes.
7 E's. You may be putting your brand onto it, but
it's
it's been there.
All experiencing, learning, and then
it's been there for all ages. So Jagaran, Jigyasa, Adhyayan, Sadhana. Sadhana is where you comes to actually practice and deep committed practice. So Karma Yoga for 21st century also is a sadhana paddhati in that sense that there are specific practices that you do every day to kind of be on the path and all that. So the point is that, and these practices that I'm talking about, they're absolutely, I have kind of codified it, and it's so that it becomes very easy for anyone else who gets interested. I've developed it over decades and decades, and yet I always say that if there is ever someone who wants to learn, and till date I have not got even one person who I can say who has learnt it, who has shown the commitment to learn it, and all that I say, it will take you 3 years. If you want to learn what this sadhana paddhati is, it will take you 3 years of deep committed learning. Why 3 years is because essentially 3 spans of 9 months each, so 27 months is what I talk about. So in a year, if you can give me 9 months of your time in completely surrender mode, and you are there, then I can, people ask me, okay, what is this Karma Yoga for 21st century? I said that, I can answer if you have, how much time do you have? If you have 2 minutes, then there's one answer. If you have 3 years, then another answer. But, and that's the maximum, at least as of now, I say that's the maximum. You do not, I have nothing more to, kind of transmit beyond 3 years, because the objective is that in these 3 years, what you will learn is to design your own paddhati. Because if I say that this is the paddhati that you have to follow all your life to remain, to be enlightened, to be siddh or whatever.
Is one who makes himself useless after
So but useless means, the point is that you should formulate, design your own paddhati. Not that after 3 years you don't need to learn. You can, then you need to be
empowered to figure things out on your own way.
On your own, but design your own practice. Without sadhana is not something that ends in 3 years. It's a lifelong and eternal process you have to be in. But what it should be, you have to decide. So that, I would say, is the long answer to your short question about frameworks. As long as you are very clear that you are using the framework to help people liberate from it. We also, in the same way, like you were talking about the twinkle twinkle little star and the you are the star example, we always say that one should be able to, one purpose of education is also to be able to understand the difference between the terrain and the person who's, and the terrain and the map, let's say. So you talk about frameworks, so we're always giving people maps to help navigate the terrain. Now, okay, I have to go from here to that dosa coffee corner next door. I don't know how to get there. So I know so I ask you, and you tell me, take a piece of paper and say, okay, here, this, that. You put some markers. There's the lamppost. You take the right and all that. The point is that piece of paper you give me is prized. That if I lose it, I'm gone. I have to come back to you, or I have to find another paper or find out some way or the other. So that is all that I have. It's so valuable to me. and then I use it and I've reached dosa cafe or whatever that dosa shop. Now will I eat that paper?
No.
Now I have to order a paper dosa
Yes.
and eat. And I have to throw that paper or give it on to someone else who doesn't know. So that's all that I would say again, that the difference between the terrain and the map. The framework is always a map which you are providing to help. And you might draw the map with a particular legend here and with a red pen and a blue, and you may put it this way. If I know how to go from here to, and someone comes and asks me, I may not put the exact, I may, instead of the lamppost, I may say take the left from that to help you get the same place. The point is that if we start believing that my map is,
it's the only map.
Or worse than that, if we think the map is the reality, and that is
Correct.
Fundamental
Absolutely.
issue.
So the framework should be liberating and evolutionary, not stifling us into believing
The framework is for throwing into the dustbin. If we get too caught up with the framework, which is and the most important framework or most ridiculous framework which we all get trapped into is this framework, which believes that dane dane pe, just because we are enjoying this this skin and this body and this mind and whatever, this complex body mind complex, we think that this is the dane dane pe likha hai khane wale ka naam na.
Eventually throw
that. So eventually at one point of time it was easy to think eventually. It is just not there. So you're not eventually, all the time you just have to throw this away and be understand that this is what I'm just using it, man. So if you're using the framework and not be afraid of saying that, like if you're really quarreling with your wife, she would say, "Oh, you've used me. You've treated me like a doormat." Well, what's wrong with the doormat? It's just think of the seva that the doormat. It's on which I am, cleaning myself.
How things keep evolving, right?
Yeah,
unless you can discard what you have created.
So that's why Reena gets so, flabbergasted, because if she hits me with the doormat, I can say, well, the doormat is my guru, my all. So the point is that's again I'm saying, responding to your question about the framework. It's not just the 7 E's. Ultimately, the 7 E is you. So if you get stuck with me, Rajiv Agarwal has this 7 E framework. 7 E से आप आगे भी चल जाओगे तो राजीव अग्रवाल में फंस गए, तो वो गड़बड़ है. So it's and again, when you are especially in the educational context, it is to really, if we can say that you are the territory. Well, I am giving you the map, and for example, I remember we had a big poster we created a big poster in our workplace, where about Karma Yoga, we would say that Karma Yoga is the map, and then there was a big YOU, you are the territory, and my photograph was behind that, and through the O of YOU, my finger was coming out like this and pointing.
It's like that how they recruited people with that. We want you.
We want you, something like that. So you are the territory. That has to be understood. So the framework is just a map. Very, very important. We see maps all around, and cartographers, or really the Bruce Lees and the Zakir Jis and the other great gurus of the world are very, very clear that they are phenomenal cartographers in terms of map makers.
Correct.
But they are not, they have not confused the map with the territory. ये बड़ा important.
That is wonderful. That is a great.
तो वही हम ओमनीडेल, ये वो आप बोलते हो, ये मैं 4D, मैं बोला ओमनीडेल कल लड़ेंगे आपका, एंड उसके पेटेंट लगाओ इसके ऊपर.
journey of what you're trying to do, which is essentially when you are creating all of this, you are growing, and through your creations you can help others grow. I think that's the sole objective. And beyond a point, you realize that money and all is going to be there. Your work, if you do good work, then everything else is, but you need money to be able to invest in your ideas.
Of course.
That's
not just money, resources of all kinds. And you need money, you need people, but again, as I said, you have to keep growing so that you can use money, use people. There's nothing wrong in people say you have used me. Of course, you use me.
But for the right...
of course, what else? We are all here to be used. So, if we can frame education in that manner where we are helping people learn how to use everything that they have, including first of all, what this is what we have to begin with, and then money and this and that. If I don't know how to use this,
absolutely,
of course I will not know how to use the money or this mic or the pen or whatever else I can, or the knowledge or so. Well, this is.
I don't know, somehow you were able to connect it from what you started with, Dane Dane Pe Likha Hai to this.
That's well, I was not able to connect. The fact is that these are connected.
You're just recognizing and bringing it to the
fore. You have to.
I mean, talking to you is obviously because there is obviously a spiritual side which has to be there, very deeply philosophical. Unless you have that, and beliefs are not very strong. I would have, I told you about my journey where you feel insane. So today I was mentoring a few people from the Stanford Seeds Park, and whenever you talk to people who are on a journey of creating, destroying, again creating, you feel sane that that you're not crazy.
Sure.
So over the last 16 years, hundreds of people have come and gone, worked with the company. As I told you about my co-founders. And you feel bad at times because some bad things also happen with you while you are working. But then if you have something deeper to look into, that why am I doing this? What is the purpose? That helps you go on to play the infinite game.
No, I'm sure. I mean, if for people who will who can track back on this video, I think at a certain point of time, I'm sure all of you are listening to this have probably missed this beat. I'm not sure whether you will remember this yourself or not, but at some point of time when you were talking about your journey and about your the 2014 to 17 and all that phase, you actually mentioned about it and said made so many mistakes. See how we frame things as mistake. I mean, why was it? Why do you have to even think about it or call it a mistake? It's all an experiment, and just to be able to take this in the spirit of experiment and in the just
absolutely, that's a negative annotation to that event.
I mean, just and nothing wrong with you. That's what is the barrage makes you feel that this is who are you to kind of even make that judgment whether it was a mistake or not, and who is anyone? Time will tell that what we are calling a mistake today will kind of turn around and what it will become. That's how I've seen things happen. So it's best to just let the things play as they can play. Good. I think we've talked for a long time.
I don't know.
I generally don't look at the watch when we do this. So I think today we might have to call it a day, but I would love for this to continue, not just to listen more, get to know about the stories of your parents, the love story of your parents, how they eloped and all that you were mentioning, very interesting things that you have put there so that we can say TBC, to be continued. But also I think maybe we can do a specific series. May not be an unending series, but just at least a series of 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever number it takes, of these kind of discussions where we can together explore this whole thing which we call education.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Not in completely two different eras, but there has been, I'm 1990 and you are 2008. So 18 years, 18 is significant. There are 18 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. So 18 years apart. I'm sure there'll be some interesting stuff that will emerge.
And the kind of knowledge and wisdom that we have across the age groups, I think all of that needs to come together.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've seen Adolescence on Netflix.
I haven't.
In that, it's a very short 4-episode series, where in the first episode they show that a 13-year-old boy has actually murdered his 13-year-old classmate, a girl. Everything is shown in the first episode. In the next 3 episodes, they show how the investigation happens and they figure things out. And the investigator is this father of a student who studies in the same school. And I was completely awestruck by the scene where the son, this investigator's son, is telling his father, "You are getting it all wrong. You don't even understand the language that we communicate in." So, do you know that the hearts that we send as emojis, the color of the heart signifies something?
Right. Amongst the people who use the...
Yes. So if it's a black heart, it means something. If it's a pink heart, it means something. If it's a red heart, back to the Stone Ages where you're communicating through symbols and all, but that is how the current generation communicates. So for us educators and those who are willing to do something, we need to understand their language.
Of course.
And then only we can communicate and tell them that these are... You understand the kind of gap that exists today.
See, more. So I also think, all of this to be explored in more sessions.
Absolutely.
But very, very important to understand the difference between, or to really realize what is Sanatan and what is ephemeral, what is transient. So that is the answer to this. There is no way that we will ever be able to understand their language and get to that point and all that. All that we can do is help ourselves understand what is eternal, what is unchanging, and then just keep transmitting that.
What's
Rest
constant?
they will figure out. The changing bit is up to them to figure out. So that's crucial. So far, so good. I think we've taken a lot of time today. We've not looked at our watches, and I'm sure some of you have, but many of you have probably not looked at your watches. If that has happened, then we are happy. We've been able to mesmerize you. Probably not. But if you have found this interesting, do let us know. If you've not found it interesting, then also let us know and try to come out on this side of the camera and make it interesting, because we aren't having enough of these right now. We have this beautiful facility in the IIT Kharagpur Research Park, and all of you who come to Kolkata, who visit here or who are here, are welcome to come and take this hot seat and spend some time sharing stuff with each other. That's all for today, friends. Namaskar.